So hello and welcome back students. Myself Parvati Prasad welcomes you to the session and we'll start the session, that is chemical reaction, and we have already done 10 MCQs, right? And now today we'll be doing the next 10 MCQs, okay? And those 10 MCQs will be very helpful to you to understand how to solve the objective type questions, right? So we'll be doing the next 10 MCQs. So let's start with the session today, okay? So these were the questions which we have done yesterday, right? So the next one is the question number 11. What does the question number 11 says? It says, before burning in air, magnesium ribbon is cleaned by rubbing with a sandpaper. So why do we do this? Okay? The reason behind that is they are asking ribbon surface, to make ribbon surface shinier, or to remove the layer of magnesium oxide, or to remove the layer of magnesium carbonate, or to remove the moisture from the ribbon. See, in the theory session I have already explained you that if this is a magnesium ribbon, if this is the magnesium ribbon, we all know that in this ribbon is kept in either shell or in the outer area. So what happens in the outer area? There are carbon dioxide gas present. There is carbon dioxide gas present, right? So what happens to this gas is, this gas basically reacts with the magnesium to form a layer of magnesium carbonate on the surface. So what happens ki a layer of magnesium carbonate is formed on the surface of magnesium. Clear? So since there is a formation of magnesium carbonate, what will happen ki when we burn this ribbon directly in air, so the carbon from the carbonate is going to come out of it and get mixed. Like we are supposed to get the reaction as magnesium when burnt in air should produce, magnesium oxide, which is a white colored powder. So instead of getting this white powder, we will get what? We will actually get grey powder if we are not cleaning, if not cleaned. What not cleaned? This magnesium ribbon, because it will start releasing this carbon, okay? And we know that the color of carbon is black, and this black color when mixed with white powder will give you grey color, and it will be somewhat which we do not want, right? We want this magnesium oxide only. So we can consider it as a impurity. So that is why we do not want this impurity, and hence what we do, we simply clean the magnesium ribbon. Is that clear? So according to this, the correct option is that remove the layer of magnesium carbonate from ribbon surface. So option C is the correct option. I hope this is clear to you. So with this we complete the question and we'll move to the next question. So the next question says is, in a chemical reaction between sulfuric acid and barium chloride solution, the white precipitates formed are of hydrochloric acid, barium sulfate, chlorine or sulfur. So to understand this question, basically we have done this question earlier also in the examples, but again we'll be doing it. So let's write the equation or the reaction of the sulfuric acid, that is H2SO4, with barium chloride, right? So whenever this H2SO4 reacts with barium chloride, it will produce BaSO4 along with HCl. Okay? So what is this? This is your barium sulfate. Okay? You can term this equation as double displacement reaction. right? And due to this double displacement reaction, because since there is an exchange of ion, barium sulfate is produced, and this barium sulfate is a white precipitate. So according to this, my dear students, the correct answer will be barium sulfate. Clear? We have done this earlier also, and we have also seen what is a precipitate. It is nothing but cottony solid, or you can say simply solid deposition at the bottom, of test tube. Yeah, one more thing, once again I will repeat the same thing, that precipitate is something which is formed in a reaction. See, this is formed during the reaction, and sediment is something which is present. Sediment, if you say sediment, it is present already in this substance, in the mixture, present already in mixture, right? So sediment is already present in the mixture, whereas this precipitate is something which is formed in reaction. Clear? So this is how you can just identify precipitate and sediment. I hope this is clear to you. So let's move to the next question. Question number 13. Respiration is a process during which glucose undergoes slow combustion. See, by combining with oxygen. Okay? So by combining with oxygen, this glucose undergoes slow combustion in cells of our body to produce energy. Okay? So let's first understand what exactly is the respiration reaction. So you might have studied in bio, that is the first chapter, your life process. In that you might have studied respiration is a process in which simple food molecules, basically digestion converts the complex food molecule into simple food molecules. Okay? Simple food molecules are converted to energy, and we all know that this energy is in the form of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, converted to energy with help of oxygen. Clear? So this is what is respiration. What is the reaction involved? Let's take a simple food, that is glucose, say 6H12O6. This, in presence of enzymes, reacts with oxygen and produces CO2, water and energy, that is ATP. See, have you seen this? An organic compound on reaction with oxygen is completely getting decomposed to three things, that is CO2, H2O and energy. This is what exactly happens in the combustion reaction. Hence it is said slow combustion. Clear? So this is why it is said that the respiration is a slow combustion reaction by combining with oxygen. I hope this is clear. So now let's understand these type of reaction. What they have said is a kind of, that is ये particular reaction किस तरह का reaction है, we have to say that. Exothermic process. What is an exothermic process? A process in which energy is released. So somewhere in this also energy is released. Endothermic reaction is a process in which energy is absorbed, right? So there is no absorption of energy. right? So this will be your wrong. ठीक है? Reversible process. See, once CO2, water and ATP is formed, this reaction is not going to reverse. So that means this is not a reversible reaction. Is it a physical process? Answer is no. Why so? Why it is not a physical process? Because there is a chemical reaction involved in it. So if there is a chemical reaction involved in it, how can we say that this is a physical process? So answer is no, this is not a physical process. So according to the explanation which I have given to you and the concept, correct option will be A, that is exothermic reaction. Why we are saying that it is an exothermic reaction? Only because there is a release of energy. There is a release of energy. So since there is a release of energy, this process will be termed as exothermic process. I hope it is very, very clear to you. Now, with this we complete the question, that is answer is option A. Question number 13 is done. So let's move to the next question. Next question says, chemical reaction does not involve. What it does not involve? See, there are 4 statements given, out of which one of the statement is incorrect. That only we have to say which one is not correct about chemical reaction. So the first statement says that formation of new substance having entirely different properties than that of reactant. Yes, this is true, that there is a formation of, for example, the earlier reaction which we have seen, C6H12O6 plus oxygen. What it gives? It gives CO2 plus H2O plus ATP. See, can you see this? That the product which is formed is entirely different from the reactant. They do not show same properties. So we can say it is entirely different. What is entirely different? The reactant is entirely different than product, right? Or the product is entirely different than reactant. So this is the correct statement about chemical reaction. Then breaking of old chemical bonds and formation of new chemical bonds. That is also true. See, can you see this? Carbon is arranged like this somewhat, right? But here there is only one carbon. Okay, the rest of the carbon, if you balance, it will be 6 CO2. So that means the balancing will show you how the bonding is also there. Okay, so there is a difference in bonding. So that means this is also true about your chemical reactions, right? So it means this is also true about, so if this is also true, so that will be not the correct answer for us, because we want something which is not true about chemical reaction. So the next one is rearrangement. Exactly, there is a rearrangement taking place, right? So whenever there is a chemical reaction, there will be rearrangement of atoms to form new products. You have to remember this part also. We have seen in the definition of chemical reaction in the start of the chapter itself that rearrangement is the again property of a chemical reaction. Then changing of atom of an element into those of another element. So this is what is going to not going to happen. So that means this is not true about the chemical reaction, and that is what they have asked us, which is not involved in the chemical reaction. You have to give the statement that is not exactly true about the chemical reaction, and hence the correct option will be your option D. I hope this is also clear to you. Okay, so moving to the question number 15. One of the following processes does not involve chemical reaction. Okay, so they have given us 4 options. Out of these 4, we have to say which one is not a chemical process, instead that is a physical process. If if something is not a chemical process, that means it should be a physical process, right? So we have to just define that which one is the physical process. Okay, so we'll start from the option D. Okay, ripening of banana. If we see ripening of banana, there is actually formation of glucose. Why? Because it goes on getting sweeter and sweeter, right? So there is a formation of glucose, and formation of glucose is a chemical process, right? So this is a chemical process. Clear? What about digestion of food? So we all know that in digestion what happens? Complex molecule like starch is been broken down into simple molecule like glucose, right? So this breakdown is nothing but the breaking of chemical bonds. So when there is a breaking of chemical bond, this is chemical reaction, right? Chemical reaction. So that means this is also a chemical process, this is also a chemical process, right? Now the option B says burning of candle wax. So we all know that candle wax is a fuel, and whenever this fuel is burnt in oxygen, right, it will always produce CO2, H2O and energy, and this is nothing but again change in the chemical composition. Hence this also is a chemical process, and if this is also a chemical process, that means this is also our not correct option, right? So this is also a chemical process. So the correct option should be A. Why? Because first thing we are talking about melting of candle wax. So melting of candle wax does not involve any breaking or formation of a new bond. So since there is no breaking of bond, or no formation of bond. So since there is no breaking and no formation of bond, that means the melting of candle wax is a physical process. So according to this, the correct option is option A. I hope this is very, very clear to you people, right? So let's move to the next question. Why is it necessary to balance a chemical equation? Right? Which law is satisfied? Actually, in chemistry we haven't studied about law of motion, conservation of no momentum, nothing about energy. What we have studied is only conservation of mass. So the answer should be your law of conservation of mass. And we also know that this says कि no mass can be created or nor it can be destroyed. Can be created nor it can be destroyed. And that is why what we do, that is why in balancing what we do, we simply try to equate. What we do, we try to equate both reactant and product, right? So this is what exactly we are doing. So that means conservation of mass is the correct answer to the given question. Moving to the 17th question. All the methods mentioned below can be used to prevent food from getting rancid except. So since they have said कि we are protecting food from rancidity, and according to me we have already seen what are the prevention methods of rancidity. So in rancidity what exactly we do is we try to prevent the food from getting rancid, that is we keep it in airtight container or we keep it in refrigerator, or The rest too, if you see, keeping food in clean and covered, we have not studied anything of that kind. Okay, always touching the food with clean hands, this is also we haven't seen. So that means the correct option should be one which is containing third and fourth as the statement. So option D is the correct answer, right? So let's move to the question number 18. So in question number 18, what it says, rusting of iron involves chemical reaction, okay, which is a combination of. That means there are two types of, we have to classify rusting of iron in two types. So let's see the reaction first. See, Fe when reacts with H2O and O2, let it be whatever number. So we get Fe2O3 dot XH2O. So basically what we see, everything is getting combined in a single product. Hence we can term it as combination reaction. Also the iron ka oxidation state from 0 it is being converted to plus 3, right? It is being converted to plus 3. So that means there is an oxidation occurring. Take oxidation of iron metal is occurring. So that means these are the two types in which we can classify. So the first one is reduction, wrong. Second one is oxidation and combination, so it is correct. So also we should see whether reduction and displacement. So see, there is no displacement, so these are wrong. So the correct option to the given question is option B. I hope this is also very very clear to you. Moving to the next question. Now you are given the following chemical equation. This reaction represents what? CuO when reacts with H2, it gives Cu plus H2O. See, CuO में से oxygen निकल गया. So when there is a removal of oxygen, we term that reaction as reduction, right? Reduction reaction. And you can see that since hydrogen is more reactive than copper, it is actually displacing copper from the compound, right? So you can say it is a displacement reaction, not double displacement. It is only displacement, right? So we can classify this reaction into two types, that is combination and displacement. So just search for the one, sorry, reduction and displacement. Okay, so this is your option B. So basically when there is an oxidation, there is also reduction. So redox reaction as well as displacement reaction. So the correct option for this question is option B. I hope this is clear to you. Moving to the last question of the day, that is, when ferrous sulfate is heated strongly, it undergoes decomposition and form ferric oxide. So what is ferrous sulfate? Ferrous sulfate is FeSO4 and it gets converted to something Fe2O3. Okay, we all know that FeSO4 is pale green in color. So basically they are asking you about the change in color, na? So we are just going to see the change in color only, right? And Fe2O3 is somewhat brown in color, right? The color of your rust. Okay, so hence the conversion is from green to brown. So the correct option is option C. I hope the questions which I have taken today is very very clear to you. I am taking 10 questions so that you get thorough with the topic, right? So with this, I expect that you have understood all the 10 questions which we have taken today. And if you have any doubt regarding whatever question you are, so you can ask me anytime. So with this, I will like to wind up the session and we'll meet in the next session. Bye bye.